Today, in this e-learning session, we shall be discussing about a very important aspect of plant embryology, and that is polyembryony. Polyembryony was first of all observed by A. P. Leeuwenhoek in citrus in 1790, when he found that from one seed of citrus many seedlings are coming out. The term polyembryony was given by Brown in 1859. Now, what polyembryony is? How define it? It is the occurrence of more than one embryo in a seed or ovule. Till now, what we have read in plant embryology. First of all, we discussed the development and structure of male gametophyte. Then we studied the structure and development of female gametophyte. Then we covered the fertilization process, in which we discussed that one of the sperm cells, it fertilizes with this egg cell to make embryo. So what we expect in an ovule which is having one embryo sac, one embryo. One embryo in an ovule. This ovule is going to convert into seed in near future. But polyembryony is when there is more than one embryo in an ovule or seed. Normally found as an abnormality because these additional embryos, they normally do not survive. Either they survive in the initial stages or they degenerate in the later stages. This condition is very common in citrus and mango. There are so many reasons for this polyembryony. Some of them we will discuss in this lecture. The first reason for polyembryony may be cleavage, which is known as cleavage polyembryony, or the additional embryos may be formed from the other cells of embryo sac. Formation of embryo from other cells of embryo sac. Third, when there are more than one embryo sac in an ovule, more than one embryo sac in an ovule, and one more reason, which is known as adventive embryo. Now, polyembryony is an abnormality and it can be found occurring spontaneously, that is naturally, or it may be induced, that is by some artificial methods we can produce polyembryony. The polyembryony can be true as well as it can be false. True means when the additional embryos, they develop within the same embryo sac, then we call it as true polyembryony. And false is when there are more than one embryo sacs in an ovum. So these are some of the terms associated with polyembryony. Now, first of all, let's take cleavage polyembryony. Friends, cleavage polyembryony is a very common event in gymnosperms, though it is not very common in angiosperms, but it is found in some orchids like Europea, now what happens in cleavage polyembryony? We may study it under some subheadings like the zygotic cell which was formed from the fusion of the male sperm cell and female egg cell. It may show budding or proliferation. It may show budding or proliferation, and the chelysal ends, they make these addition embryos. There may be another case where the proembryo, it makes buds, and these buds, they develop into additional embryos. There may be another case, for example, in as we have seen earlier that suspensor was present. The suspensor may show branching, and these branches, they may develop into embryo. Their ends develops into embryo. So the embryos which are formed as a result of cleavage in zygote or its various parts is known as cleavage polyembryony. Coming to the second case, where the additional embryos are formed from cells other than egg in an embryo sac. Just revising our previous lecture, we have seen that along with egg, there were two synergids on either sides of eggs, polar nuclei and antipodals. So egg, we all know very well, it makes normal embryo by fusing with sperm cell 1. Now these synergids and antipodals, which usually degenerate before the entry of pollen grain or after, they may also participate in embryo formation. So here we will cover this aspect of polyembryony. Now, first of all, coming to these synergids, the embryos developed from synergids, they may or may not develop without fertilization like this. These synergid cells, they make embryos. These embryos are diploid and unfertilized. These synergids which are formed after fertilization are diploid, whereas the embryos formed from unfertilized synergids are and in nature. Example in Asphodilus and Argemone. Now coming to these antipodals, they sometimes they do not degenerate and they develop and make additional embryos like this. along with the main embryo. Along with the main embryo, they divide up to a certain stage and make embryo-like structures. Now, the third may be from endosperm. Though it has been reported in a very few number of plants like Bellonifera, but the reports were not found correct. So, embryo development from endosperm is not found. Okay. Now, coming to the third part of polyembryony, that is when there is occurrence of more than one embryo sac in an ovule. Normally, what we see in an ovule, there is one embryo sac. Now, these are the integuments. This is the nucellus, and this is the embryo sac. Normally, there is one embryo sac, but sometimes there may be more than one embryo sac, and these embryo sac may lead to development of polyembryos. The reason may be the splitting of archisporial cell into two embryo sacs. This is a very common observation in Penicillium. In Penicillium, about 20% seeds have got polyembryony. And now coming to the last type of polyembryony, that is adventive embryony. Adventive polyembryony. Now, as the name suggests, that the embryo in this case is formed from the sporophytic cells of the female plants. The sporophytic cells in this case is this is the normal embryo sac, and this is integument, and this is nucellus. This was an in nature, and these two. So, when the additional embryos they develop from this sporophytic tissue, nucellus, integument, then we call it as adventive embryony. Now, talking about the nucellus type of polyembryony, it is a very common phenomena in citrus and mango, that the embryos are formed from the nucellus. In citrus, 40 embryos have also been observed in one seed. The cells of nucellus towards micropyle, they make polyembryos. In mango, the nucellus seed forming embryos become differentiated due to large size, dense cytoplasm and bigger nucleus. They are outside the embryo sac, but these are gradually pushed inside into the nucellus like this. These are lateral in position. How we can differentiate between these embryos and our main embryo? The main embryo is like this. It has got suspensor, whereas these embryos, they are lateral in position and they do not have suspensor. So this is about the embryos developing from the nucellus, which are, and these are known as nucellar embryos. Now, sometimes the inner layer of the integument and some cells of the inner integument, they directly makes embryos. They gradually shift inside the nucellus. Crassinucellate ovules, it is a common observation that the additional embryos are formed from the nucellus, whereas in caninucellate or thin nucellus, the additional embryos are formed from the integument. Now, till now, what we have seen? We have seen the nature of polyembryony, the ways by which polyembryos can be formed. Now, coming to the second part of this session, of this lecture, that what is the cause of this polyembryony? Now, the first cause of polyembryony may be hybridization, as it is found very common in hybrids. So, it is said that hybridization may provide a stimulus for polyembryony. Strasburger, he proposed that the degenerating nucellus, the nucellus that is degenerating slowly and slowly, it provides stimulus for the polyembryony, and it is known as Strasburger necrohormone theory. Necro means dead, means the dead nucellar cells giving stimulus. In mango, it has been found that the polyembryony is genetically controlled. The dominant gene is responsible for one embryo, whereas the recessive gene is responsible for the polyembryony. In citrus, a number of factors may be there which may cause polyembryony, like increased age of plant. As the age increases, the polyembryony also increases. The higher rate of fruit setting, more the fruits, more to the polyembryony. Polyembryony is more common in the north side of the branches. Now, coming to the last of this, that is the importance of polyembryony. Since polyembryony is very common in fruit plants, it has found its applications in horticulture, in plant breeding. So, the polyembryony is found to be very useful in plant breeding and horticulture. The embryos that we get, especially the nucellar embryos, are free from diseases, so we can get disease-free plants. This technique is very useful in the propagation of plants, especially in case of citrus and mango. Since these all embryos are same, we get uniform seedlings, homozygous diploids, and these are also used in artificial production of embryos. So today in this lecture we covered another very important aspect of embryology, that is polyembryony. The soft copy of this e-learning lecture you will find on PolySci. Thank you.